What's up, guys? So it is January the 14th, 2016, and I am headed into Henry's to get my camera fixed. For whatever reason, the pop-up sort of viewer isn't, it's inverting the image, so when I look at myself when I'm vlogging, I'm upside down. So I'm gonna get that fixed.
Yeah, it's something else. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure it can be probably fixed, but...
So guys, I'm headed to Second Cup. Had a huge snowfall last night. Or maybe it was 2 nights ago, actually. Yeah, it's 2 nights ago. It's all cleaned up now, but it was a mess here for a while. There's no parking at Second Cup, so we are going to go to Starbucks instead. They have better coffee anyway. I'm not dressed for this at all. Let me just check out all the snow. So guys, this is my next meal, so I'll show you what I've got. Sloppy Joe. So Robin made this out of extra lean ground beef yesterday. So there's some left over here. I've got a fat-free mozzarella cheese slice in there, and these are whole wheat buns. And then I've got 150-ish grams of green beans. Almost forgot, I also have this big glass of milk that I'm gonna drink with the meal. I usually try to get around 30 grams of protein per meal, especially when I'm eating intuitively. While I eat this, I'm going to read through this month's issue of Alan Aragon's research review. So the question is whether or not cardio is important. So who needs to do cardio? And he kind of addresses this question from a point of cardiovascular health and not, you know, do I need to do cardio to get lean? Because we kind of know the answer to that question, and it's obviously no. You don't need to do cardio to be lean. You just need to set up a caloric deficit, whether that's through the diet or through cardiovascular training or through some combination of the two. Of course, I personally think that some combination of the two is usually the best route when it comes to bodybuilders and contest prep, but certainly you can get very, very lean without doing any cardio at all. So the question is are weights alone enough for cardiovascular health? He kind of outlines the main things that are important for cardiovascular health, an emphasis on the fact that it's going to depend on what your goal is. And he also makes a big deal out of NEAT. So if you guys aren't familiar with NEAT, NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's one of the contributors to our daily energy expenditure. So this is a graph here showing our total daily energy expenditure. As you can see, most of it is just resting energy expenditure. And then in the non-resting energy expenditure, you have that broken down into 3 categories. You have the NEAT, which is, you know, things like fidgeting, walking to work, anything that's not strictly exercise or sleeping or eating. It's important to note that the NEAT is so much larger typically than the EAT. So in determining whether or not cardiovascular training is required, it's important to consider someone's level of NEAT. So someone who has, say, a very strenuous job with a lot of activity, like a farmer, for example, then this person is going to be more likely to not need any extra cardio. There is a pretty big degree of overlap between resistance training and cardiovascular training or aerobic training. If you are resistance training, say more than 6 hours per week, then it may not be necessary for you to add additional cardiovascular aerobic training on top of your resistance training, there may be sufficient overlap there. But again, that's going to depend on a plethora of other factors, including, your level of NEAT and probably most importantly, what your specific goals are. So this was a really good article. I'd recommend you guys go and check out Alan Aragon's research review. I'm going to put a clip up here of my most recent leg workout. So I hope that you guys enjoy this edit, and I'll be in touch after the training session. right, guys, so I'm about to record a podcast with a gentleman, Abel. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, man, but yeah, I will link you guys to this podcast once it goes live. Well, first of all, choose a program that is of genuine interest to you. I do think that that's important. And then also, I think, doing something like kinesiology or anatomy and physiology or even nutrition would be a good way to kind of get your feet wet, considering someone's goals is always most important. So if their goals are to build as much muscle as they can, I don't think the best way to do that is by giving them like starting strength or something like that, for example. So a program, highly specific to the squat, bench, and deadlift. I like to take specific phases where I'm focusing predominantly on developing one trait. In terms of intuitive eating, I think that there are three main principles that you kind of want to guide your eating behaviors by. So the first one is to eat for physical rather than emotional reasons. So when you're just, sat at home eating out of the peanut butter jar, you're not really eating for physical sustenance. The other rule is that you have to pay attention to your body's hunger signals. And once you're fully satiated, you simply stop eating. And then the third principle is that you don't place restrictions on yourself in terms of what foods to eat or even how much to eat, provided that you're following rule 2. And then to put another kind of spin on this, as a bodybuilder, I found that setting yourself up with, say, 4 to 6 discrete meals that have a solid bolus of protein in each is another fourth thing that I would sort of tack on there to ensure that you are optimizing muscle protein synthesis throughout the day, and then also kind of restricting a just like full day pick or a full day of binging that you can see after a contest. So guys, I just had to go pick up a couple things. Robin had to get her phone fixed. She dropped her phone. So she basically got a new phone. And now I'm meeting her for us to eat some Thai Express. Here she is, as predicted. Thank you. This is how I did. I'm gonna take the rest of it home with me and finish it later. So we decided that we weren't full enough from the pad thai, I guess. So, well, one of us wasn't. So we're gonna come get some cookies or something here at Sophie's. Those?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we get?
Shortbread cookies.
Oh, shortbread cookies. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Not very good.
Yeah, I like these. These are good. I would
Yeah.
eat these. I'm not gonna eat those. Oh, there we go. So guys, that is going to conclude this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed that workout footage. And if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.